Um, it's bad, man. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Um, you're pretty much looking at probably one of the lowest points in Nigeria's history. Um, like I couldn't give a damn whether this is non-football or anything. Screw you. Um, because anybody who knows me or subscribes to me will know that I'm a Nigerian through and through, green, white, and green through and through. So if something like this is happening and you don't think that I'm going to use whatever little platform I have to talk about it, you're wild. So, watch, in case people don't know, so again, this is for the non Nigerians out there. This is a long time coming. I'm someone who grew up in Nigeria. That's where I grew up. And then obviously moved over to England and so forth. Obviously born in London, grew up in Nigeria, then moved over to Switzerland, then to England. But Nigeria has always been in me. You could hear from my accent. I've not lost the accent, and I fought to keep this accent. So what is happening now is this is the reckoning. Um, Nigeria has always been a broken country, divided country, war between tribes, um, embarrassing disparity between rich and poor. It's a country where, and the worst thing about it is that it's has some of the most resources in the world, rich resources. Um, Oil producer. Once you're an oil producing, look at all the countries in the Middle East and everything. If you're oil producing, you should be affluent. But people get the money, take the money, and keep it for themselves. So greed. As I say, you go into politics to make money. Don't go into politics to help the country. Go into politics to make money. And I think what you're seeing now is people are fed up. It's a melting pot, which is what 2020 is about. 2020 is, and I think it's because of COVID. It's a year in which, all right, this is where just things really come to a head now. This is where things now really come to a head. And the end SARS was just a catalyst because the government thought that, oh, we'll just end SARS, for a few months. Obviously, we'll bring it back. Well, as long as we end SARS, that's fine. But no, they said, no, end SARS is a tipping point. We now have the attention of the world. We're not going to address everything. Everything, all the bad things that you've done, everything that we've just, because every single time we've just been about, okay, it is just how it is. That's just how Nigeria is. This is how it is. Now I say, no, it's not about how it is. No, it shouldn't be like how it is. You shouldn't be, in 2020, you shouldn't be living in a country where there's no light. In 2020, you shouldn't be living in a country where a large amount of the youths don't have access to jobs. You can't live in a country where there is so much money. There are people that are so rich and they've not been able to invest in better roads, better schools, better hospitals. So the people are fed up, and what happened at the Lekki toll gates, a place that I know because it's near where I live, that is near my family house. Um, Shocked, like, I never believed that Nigeria would be involved in something like that. And for me, this is why I say, like, I don't watch news channels. I just don't, because for me, it's a system. Because I'm always against the institution, but there have been some news channels that have been doing some good stuff out there, But I don't watch those news. For me, I always say that the best news you can get, that's just for me, just for me as an individual, is social media, and that is where, because on social media is unfiltered, because that is where a guy gets his phone, boom, there is no camera, and you don't have to see any higher up about, oh, should we put this out there? No. And some of the stuff I've seen on social media has just been shocking, you know. But it's, yeah, like, no, just all through last night, this morning as well, it's bad, man. It's bad. It's bad because, and that's why, like, literally, all I've been doing is just calling family, speaking to guys that I know there, saying, "Go, guys, stay safe, stay safe. What's happening? What's happening on the ground? What's happening on the ground? What's happening on the ground?" But what you're seeing, guys, is the people are fed up, and as I was saying to my brothers and my sister we're saying like this was always going to come. It was not a matter of if, it was a matter of when. How long can people keep living in such conditions when they know things can be better? It's one thing if you live in a country that is poor, that doesn't have resources, and you're like, then your views are, okay, I now have to leave because, there's just nothing here. But there's another thing where, bro, people like China come to Nigeria to exploit the resources because they know how rich the place is. People, what's it called, like Shell and so forth. Guys fly into Nigeria, make money, take the money, fly back. So the crazy thing, the youth are like, wait, the money is here. Money can be made here. So why are foreigners and politicians making so much money than all of us who pretty much make the fiber and the core of the country? So, I mean, it's bad. There's no other way to put it. It's really bad because if you just go into Twitter, you change your trends to Nigeria, and you just see some of the stuff that people are posting. I mean, there is a TVC house that's been attacked. We're now hearing that the Lagos governor now said no, nobody was killed, when there's footage of people who have been killed. Um, it's completely wild. It's just so crazy seeing a country that you lived in. I lived there for the first 10 years of my life. Places that now just been turned into a war zone. Like Nigeria, it looks like Iraq or Syria, and that is crazy to think about. That is crazy to think about. But it's like, because because me and my brother were saying like, what's now? Because for Buhari, you're a president. You you have to lead. It is shocking you've not said anything. The moment these things happen, even if it's at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., you don't sleep. You don't sleep because that is what you're put in office for. You're into office to that. And during times like this, you're there to come out there and you make a statement. You lead. You people have to show you leading. The fact that you didn't make a statement as soon as that thing happened. It's not. I mean, like, that's not what a leader is supposed to do. That's not what a leader is supposed to do. So we wait for Buhari to come out and lead. You have to lead because that's what you're here for. You have to lead, and you have to answer to all these accusations. Whether it's Buhari, Tinubu, all of these guys, as in who ordered those soldiers to shoot on unarmed protesters, because that's a line you don't cross, because once you cross that line, you can never go back, and that's the issue now. You've crossed a line that you can never go back now. Once that's happened and that's occurred, you can never go back now. Because right now because the eyes of the world are now on you. Your eyes of the world are now on you. So now you're gonna get sanctions. You're going to be ostracized from the community, and there's going to be pressure, because what people don't understand is this isn't the 90s or the 80s where there was no social media. So then you could control information and you could put pressure on TV stations to censor what they show. It's 2020. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, your smartphone, WhatsApp. These are things that can now be put out there, because some of the stuff that I've seen would never be shown on TV, never. People being hacked, people being killed, things being burnt open, soldiers, police firing. These kinds of things that I'm seeing would never be shown. It would never be shown on normal TV, and that's because you can't hide stuff now. You can't censor stuff now. But yeah, man, look, it's yeah, man, it's deep, man. Um, because as I said again, for guys that don't know, it's like, look, man, this was like this. That's what I'm saying. This isn't shocking. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. This isn't shocking. It's more a case of like, aha, it's finally happened, because this was always going to happen. This was always going to happen, because you can't operate a country like that. You can't have a country that is so badly run, so messed up, and it doesn't need to be that way. Like it's cancer. And you're not seeing one politician is asking Jack Dorsey, the Twitter head, for $1 billion because he's meddling enough. Look. Um, but yeah, look, I'll try and keep you all updated about what is happening. Try and see stuff on the ground. But I just think it is important for you just to know what's happening, because this is major. This is major because, as I said again, like what happened at that Lekki toll gate, that's a point of no return. That is a point of no return. Because I said again, there is no excuse. You never shoot at protesters. So like that incident right now has changed Nigeria forever. It has changed the country forever. And the country will never be the same again. Which is why I'm just fearful of, like, what does the future hold? Is it now a civil war? Does the country split apart? Does the country just go on full on all out war? This isn't a case when, like, other countries like an American army or something now have to come in because the country is fully at war. Because this could be a case where now this now elevates to the UN, and then the UN now have to get involved. But as I said again, it is looking like if this is now going to be something changing, but it was always going to happen. You can only put your leg on someone's throat for so long. You can only keep punching that guy again and again and again. One time he's going to punch back. One time he's going to react. And this is the reaction.